Glenn, I was just going to ask about that's the argument that we've seen that Alfie was just saying there. You know, there is some good players there, but they're not playing as a good team. Is that right? I mean, because I've been watching it a bit too closely, but I'm thinking maybe 2 or 3 good players. And yesterday, when that full-time whistle went, I kind of felt like if any of these leave, I'm not going to be upset. And I don't remember feeling that before. There's always been at least 1 or 2 players where you think, I don't want them to go. I'll be really upset if they go. But actually, to be fair, if any of them left tomorrow, I'd be fine with that. I'd wish them all the best.
I think you're looking at the squad and you'd miss Ward-Prowse, Walker-Peters, Romeo Lavia. They'd be the main 3. Anyone else, I think I'd be over it by the time I'd finished reading about it. To be honest, by the time I got to the bottom of the page, it would be be interesting to see if anyone gets the Adam Lallana 2-line send off. But yeah, there's not many there. I mean, I remember when we nearly got relegated, the season we won at Swansea at the end that season. I remember thinking the same thing. I was looking at the squad of players we've got and thinking, I think it was like Gabbiadini and Højbjerg. I think were the only
Austin as well.
No, I mean, as in the only 2 players where I was thinking I'd be bothered if we lost.
They went, you'd be upset.
Yeah. Because I could see something in those players. So, I mean, the interesting thing for me is like, do you give players a chance who have been dreadful for the last 2 years in the Premier League? Do you give them a chance at a lower level? I mean, some of them. You're not going to have a choice because no one's going to want to buy them. But do you, for argument's sake, keep Joe Aribo in the Championship, who's done absolutely nothing in the Premier League? And that's what you've got to get your head around. Adam Armstrong is another one. Obviously, he scored a bundle of goals in the Championship 2 years ago. But for me, he doesn't look like a player who's going to score bundles of goals next year. He's the difference between a player with confidence and a player without confidence now. So. There's lots of decisions like that to be made, and obviously, and I've seen it written a few times now by various different people. You've got to have people who want to be here. If people don't want to be here, then get them out the door, because no one's that good. I mean, like Salisu clearly doesn't want to be here, and he has been a big loss this season, I think, because it gives you that natural balance. The left-footed centre back, he is capable of having very good games, but no, if you don't want to be here, see you later. Try and get them out the door. I mean, there's the obvious ones, obvious question marks over the likes of Orsic, Onuachu, but the trouble is we're probably paying them 10 times the wages they were on at the previous club. So they're not going to, take Orsic for example. Why would he give up? Say he was on $5,000 before, now he's on 50. That's a total guess, by the way. Why would he give that up? He's earned that, if you like. He's earned his move here, and it hasn't worked for whatever reason. Maybe it's his fault. Maybe it's our fault. Why would he give that up? I
think Turkey's got quite a comfortable tax arrangement, shall we say, with footballers. So I think that might be a popular.
But we've seen before how difficult it is to get rid of the dross, isn't it? It's all very well going, right, well, we want to get rid of him, we want to get rid of them. But when they're on the books and people aren't going to take their wages on, and they might not want to leave, so it's really difficult. It might not be the rebuild that we want or need. In fact, that's
you'd like to wipe the slate clean and get rid of anybody who you don't think is going to sort of be up to the job, but it is going to be very difficult. And this is the point I made a couple of weeks ago. Sport Republic and the new manager, hopefully, and the director of football, they've got to start getting decisions right. In fact, forget Sport Republic. It's more about the manager and the director of football, the people who actually know about football. They're the ones who have got to make the decisions on the players, and any players that we sign, they've got to be signed with the idea of building a promotion-winning team, not signing some 14-year-old from Chile who we're going to sell on in 5 years' time or whatever. We've got to start getting the priorities right.
And am I right, Alfie? Did Sellers hint there is a plan for relegation, and he was saying that we might hear more about that soon, or they're going to sit down and they're going to talk about it? And it seemed like they weren't going to maybe wait until the end of the season. I think before the Liverpool game was mentioned.
He's been carrying out the plan for relegation.
Executed perfect.
I would hope that is the case. But
if it ain't broke, consider breaking it.
Well, let's not get into that. Yeah, that's I think the reason I
Job
said
done.
it, there are good players there. Like people like Charlie Alcaraz will play in the Championship. I think you can field an 11 of Southampton without the likes of Joe Reba and Adam Armstrong. You know, they're going to sign a new forward. I think that's almost certainly going to happen. Somebody who wants to score goals. But I was listening to Dean Hammond on BBC Radio Solent the other day. I don't think anybody else listened in, but he was saying that they need to make these decisions early and get the players in early doors. But the problem is the rebuild's not starting on the pitch. The rebuild's starting up in the boardroom. You know, they've still got so many different positions to fill, so many people to find. And Jason Wilcox has got the biggest job he's ever had on his hands. Whatever date it is he starts, he's going to be very, very busy because they can't even think about the pitch yet. They've got no academy manager, they've got no recruiter. You know, they've got a lot to do.
And the departures probably haven't finished yet either.
They certainly haven't. Yeah.
No, there's going to be more to come. So, is that what you're? I mean, you've spoken about this, Alfie, as well, about Sport Republic. When is it that they front up and they talk about the mistakes that they've made, and they talk about the plan to get back to the Premier League? Is that something that happens on Saturday when it's confirmed, or is that something you'd expect like day after the Liverpool game? When do they actually come out and answer some questions?
I do not know the answer to that. Obviously, I wouldn't know, but I'd like to think that it will be immediate. You'd imagine, and like you say, that they reassure fans that, all right, it's actually over now. I can't believe it's still not over. That's the thing that Glen said, and finally just ripped the Band-Aid off. We've been waiting since Forest in January. We knew that this was potential, and it's still going on. But when it is, just accept it, get it, tell people that it's going to be okay. Well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to divert a bit of power away from who it has been for the last 7 or 8 months, and we've got this new guy, Jason Wilcox, and we're going to trust him to make the decisions, like Glen said.